Sticking to one's habits is not usually something that's easy for people. There is something that makes people give up a lot. The reason most of us don't stick to our commitments or to our habits is because we often cheat ourselves. We lie, we don't tell the truth, and then even if we intend to do something, we retreat and change our mind way too frequently. And it just ends in the commitment not being seen through. What happens when we don't honor our commitments, what happens is when we give up on the habits, is that the discomfort of doing that habit or of going through with that commitment is higher than our reason for doing it. We get more negatives by doing it than we would gain positives, and that makes us stop doing it. The best example I can give for this is imagine two people, person A and person B, going to the gym to lose 10 pounds. Person A does it because they want to feel fitter. They just want to feel better, they set out to lose 10 pounds, and they're trying. Person B, on the other hand, goes in because they need to. Their doctor told them if they don't lose the 10 pounds, they're going to run serious health risks, which is going to affect their family, they may not be there for their kids, and their reason is just much bigger than person A. Now, both person A and person B go through the same workout routine. They struggle, they work hard, they break a sweat, they go home exhausted. Who do you think will visit the gym more often? Person A, who just wants to lose 10 pounds to feel fit, or person B, who does it for their health and for their family? When you find a bigger reason than yourself to do a commitment, you usually see it through. If you don't want to see it through, it just means that the reason doesn't connect to you as much as you think it does. Even if that's something as important as your job or your studies. You don't see the effect it has on the world and on your life. You grow accustomed to it. You take it for granted. And by doing that, you remove the importance of it. And that becomes a problem, especially when it goes to your habits or your commitments, because you just try to find an easy way out, because it doesn't matter. And then once you finally realize it matters, it's usually too late. You're usually done at that point and you can't get it back anymore, at least not easily at all. So you want to find something that you cannot abandon, something that you have to stick with, something that doesn't give you a plan B. Think of a parent that needs to do their job because they need to pay for life-saving surgery for their kid. Or they have to work 3 jobs for the next 2 months to get their kid that surgery. Do you think that parent is going to give up on doing those jobs? It's definitely not going to be easy, but don't you think that parent will try whatever they can? Don't you think that parent will do whatever it takes to get those 3 jobs, to get that money, because that would save their kid? If you have a kid, you probably know what that feels like. If you don't, you hopefully can imagine it. But the point is that you find something that you cannot give up on. If that parent finds themselves exhausted at the end of the day, if they find themselves hating their life at the moment, I guarantee you they will struggle through those 2 months if it means they can save their kid's life. No questions asked, not a doubt in their mind. They will do it. However, we don't have that kind of commitment when we think about going to the gym. Obviously, it's not on the same level of importance. Obviously, it's not the same thing. But that's the problem. We don't honor our own commitments that much, which means we have to make this a big deal, otherwise we don't see it through. And then if we don't see it through, next time we have another memory to support that we don't see things through anyway, and that just supports us in our belief, and then we say, you know what, it's just one more thing we didn't do. It doesn't matter anymore. We've not done so many things. This one thing won't matter. And then you go and thing after thing after thing you don't do, you don't get it done, and yeah, at the end of the year you look back, you didn't do anything. Yeah, at the end of the year you look back and you didn't do anything. Great, awesome. So what really matters is that you find something that is just a must. It's not negotiable. Maybe this is something that has a lot of meaning to you personally because someone else helped you because of this. Or maybe this is some way you connected to your family, your friends, or someone important in your life. Maybe you find a way to make it big. Because the thing is, you can spin whatever story you want to, as long as it connects you to that bigger purpose, as long as it makes doing it more powerful than discomfort of doing it, you will continue to do it. You will continue to do that habit. You will see that commitment through. But you have to recognize that this goes against your biology. It doesn't even go against your upbringing. It goes against your whole evolution. Because when you think about it, our evolution was there to survive. Our evolution made us survive. That's the whole point. We just wanted to survive. Now, how do you survive? Well, for one, you avoid danger. For another thing, you save energy. And for a third thing, you don't do anything that you don't have to do. Because that reduces your energy and it increases the chance that you might get into danger. So to survive, we wanted to basically be as lazy as possible. We wanted to grow as fat as possible. We wanted to save as much energy as possible. And we didn't want to do anything. That, theoretically, has the highest chance of survival. And that used to be true for the longest amount of time. For millions of years, that used to be the case. But it's not anymore. Most of us really don't have to worry about food. Most of us don't have to worry about surviving. There's no saber-toothed tigers anymore. There's no mammoths that we have to go and kill. There's no immediate danger. But it's still in us to relax, to not want to spend that energy. And that's why when you try to do commitment, you have to have a really good reason to do it. Because the good reason not to do it, that's already there. Don't do it because it reduces your survival. It reduces your chance to live. Don't do it. Doesn't make sense. Even if it's something as simple as going to the gym. You could get hurt, you're losing some calories. This dangers your survival more than it seems to help. At least that's what our biology is telling us. So, for that reason, you already need to find a cause or reason that's bigger than this one, than this evolutionary one that you have anyway. And that's quite a big reason. That has to be a pretty big reason for you already. But once you find it, once you keep doing those commitments, once you keep working on it, once you do what you said you would, that reason becomes less because you gain the belief, the self-belief, that you can do the things you set out to do. And that's more apparent, that's more in the front of your mind than this evolutionary belief. This is kind of like in the back of your mind. It's there, it lingers, but it's not too apparent. But it is there, so we have to deal with it. And the best way to deal with it is just to find a cause that speaks to your emotions. Because your emotions speed out your logic 99% of the time. And that's our first access point. So you need to find something that is a must for you emotionally, that you feel like you cannot do without, that you have to do. And once you find that, the only other thing you need to do to stick with your commitments is to remind yourself of it. Because you will forget that feeling. The feelings come and go. And the reason may not trigger that feeling after a while anymore. You have to find a way to keep that feeling alive. It's not about the logic. If the logic doesn't help your feeling anymore, then it's useless. You throw it out. Doesn't matter anymore. But what makes you feel like it's a must? And that might mean that every month you have to refine a new way to make it a must. Or that every year you have to sit down again for a couple hours and refine that way to rekindle that must in yourself. And then the last tip I have for you to stick with your commitments is simply to say you'll do less. Say no more often. Don't commit to these things. Only commit to the things that you will do. Period. You're 100% sure, there's no doubt in your mind, there's no way you will not do it. If you're that committed to it, then say yes. Other than that, don't say yes. Say no. Avoid it. Don't commit at all. Now, if you don't commit and you still want to do it, by all means go for it. But then it's a bonus. You did it even though you didn't want to do it, even though you said you wouldn't do it. You still did it. That's a bonus. But other than that, don't say you will do it unless you're 100% without a doubt in your mind sure that you will do this. Otherwise, you will just feed the examples that you don't do what you said you would. And that will come to bite you in the ass later on again. And then you look back and you count the number of times you've done what you said you did, and you count the number of times you actually did do what you said you would do, and the number of times you didn't. And one or the other will win, and will push you in that direction. Make sure you have a good support system by only committing to the things that you're actually going to do. Even if they're small things, it doesn't matter. Even if at the end of the day you've only done 2 things, it doesn't matter. This is a process. But you want to build that integrity. You want to build the ability to honor your own word, because that will be powerful. Not only will it make you do the things you set out to do, but it will give you a self-belief unlike anything else. And that is a huge system of support.